Hello everyone, welcome to the demonstration of 32Soft Production Planner for the repetitive manufacturing environment in QED. My name is Elena and I will be your presenter for today and will be answering your questions at the end of the webinar. Can you see my screen? I hope you do. Sorry, I forgot you're muted. So, the 32 Production Planner data loader has been designed by 32Soft to allow you efficiently maintain production schedule in QED. Production Planner provides you with real-time access to QED data and instant visibility of scheduled quantities, available resources, and planned demands, all in easy-to-use Excel spreadsheets. During today's webinar, we will show you how you can use Production Planner to manage your production schedule with great efficiency and accuracy. Production Planner is built on 32Soft data loaders technology and allows you to work with production schedules in QED through Excel. It allows you to create, update, and explode production schedule directly in Excel using real-time QED data. From 32Soft Production Planner, you can analyze net requirements and compare them with scheduled quantities, review and approve MRP planned orders, preview and analyze capacity requirements for existing production schedules, and upload the entire production schedule back into QED with a click of a button. Capacity and component availability reports in Production Planner will allow you to identify potential issues with resources availability or component shortages. Built-in what-if analysis functionality will allow you to simulate changes to production schedule and check capacity and inventory impact without updating schedule in QED. Production Planner allows you to manage production schedule in QED without allocating to this process additional system resources. After opening a Production Planner, you need to click on Setup button to select databases you will be connecting to. Once you specify selection criteria in the header that include range of production lines and item numbers, site, planner code, and start date, you can click on Download button to download existing repetitive production schedule into Excel from QED. If this is the first time you are connecting to QED since opening a Production Planner, you'll be asked to specify your QED user ID, password, and domain. Production Planner, as all 32Soft data loaders, can only be used by users with valid QED user ID, password, and access to schedule maintenance menu in QED. User authentication is based on native QED authentication logic that includes user ID, password, and menu and site security. If user authentication is successful, production schedule will be downloaded in Excel. First date of downloaded schedule is based on the start date specified in the header and is always shifted to Monday. Scheduled quantities shown as a result of download are open scheduled quantities calculated as quantity required minus quantity completed. If quantity completed exceeds quantity scheduled, negative quantity will be displayed showing overproduction. Total open quantity for the days before the first date of downloaded schedule will be displayed in the past due column. In Production Planner, you can compare existing schedules with net requirements to identify potential shortages or overproduction. By clicking on Show Demand button, you will get an additional tab titled Net MRP Requirements Report that will show you net requirements for all manufactured items that match selection criteria you've specified in the header. To calculate net requirements, Production Planner uses same sources of demand as standard QED MRP reports. Net requirements are always adjusted for nettable quantity on hand. For example, if there was a sales order for 682 items due on February 19 and nettable quantity on hand for that item is 682 or more, net required quantity reported for that date would be 0 because required 682 would be covered by quantity on hand. Also, when calculating net required dates, Production Planner takes into account safety time and manufacturing lead time. it allows to efficiently compare required with scheduled quantities. For example, if you have ordered that due on February 25th and manufacturing lead time for it is 2 days and safety time is 1 day, Production Planner will show that quantity needs to be scheduled on February 22nd instead of 25th to meet sales order due date. Click on Show Demand button also updates corresponding scheduling tab. It shows details of MRP planned production orders and color codes dates with potential shortages or overproduction. Planned orders generated by MRP will be displayed under the scheduled quantities for each item, so you can see schedule increases proposed by MRP. Dates with projected negative inventory will be highlighted in yellow. Projected quantity on hand calculation takes into account currently scheduled quantities and MRP-generated planned orders. It will also display on the Scheduled tab items that do not have production schedule in QED but have net requirements. All highlighted cells will have comments attached to them with details of projected quantity on hand. Production Planner also checks for overscheduled quantities for items with non-zero shelf life. If cumulative scheduled quantity exceeds cumulative net requirements, Production Planner will check item shelf life to identify expiration date. If there are no requirements for an item for more than a certain number of days before it expires, scheduled quantity will be highlighted in blue, so you will see where you may have overproduction. Another aid in helping you to analyze production schedule and make decision about modifying it is Detailed MRP Report. Detailed MRP Report will open in a pop-up window and will show you item details, quantity on hand, gross requirements, and projected receipts. 32Soft Production Planner also allows you to review capacity requirements for existing and simulation schedules, which means you can check production capacity available before even updating schedule in QED. There are two different capacity reports available in Production Planner: Work Center Utilization Report and Production Line Utilization Report. These two reports use different sources for capacity, demand, and supply. Production line is a set of work centers and machines. In QED, work center capacity or capacity supply can be defined as a general capacity for a day for the whole site or for individual shifts. Capacity demand can be defined as item runtime in item routing. Alternatively, available capacity can be defined as a number of working hours per day or shift for a whole production line instead of work center, and capacity demand as units per hour rate for each item and the production line. Depending on the selected approach in maintaining capacity demand and supply in QED, you will use either work center or production line utilization report. Both reports are generated based on the scheduled quantities as per the Daily tab. Again, these quantities can include quantities downloaded from QED and planned changes to production schedule, not uploaded into QED yet. Work Center Utilization Report can be generated by clicking on Work Center Utilization button. In this report, Work Center load for each item and operation is calculated based on a standard item routing. Start date for each operation is calculated forward from schedule date, taking into account operation move, wait, subcontract, run, setup, and queue times, and required overlap quantity, if any. Available work center capacity is identified for each operation start date based on the shop floor calendar and a number of machines per hour. Work center capacity is consumed by operation based on their start date and item sequence. All operations with start due in the past will be scheduled for the current date. Production Planner assigns entire load for an operation to its scheduled start date. Work center load for each operation is subtracted from available capacity, and result appears as the remaining capacity for the next operation. capacity shortages are shown in red. Based on the projected capacity availability shown in the report, you can adjust production schedule. Production Planner also allows you to simulate production schedule roll forward based on the available capacity. Let me save this tab for future comparison. And I will show you how you can simulate schedule roll forward. You just need to set schedule roll forward flag to yes in the selection criteria and click on the work center utilization button again. If you now compare capacity reports generated with and without schedule roll forwarding, you will see how proposed schedule quantity had changed. These quantities are simulation only, and they have not been updated in QED yet. So if you would like to update your quantities according to your capacity availability, you would go to the Daily tab, make the changes and upload them in QED, or even make the changes and rerun the report without schedule or forward to check how your capacity availability status has changed. If you maintain production rates at the production line levels instead of work centers, then you will use production line utilization report. Logic of this report is similar to work center utilization report, but capacity requirement for each item is calculated based on production line capacity and hourly production rate for an item. Production line utilization report, unlike work center utilization report, does not show capacity requirements for each operation. Changeover time that might be required when switching between items on the same production line consumes production line capacity and is reported as a setup time. Similar to the work center utilization report, you can roll forward scheduled quantities based on the available capacity. In Production Planner, available capacity is consumed based on production run date and production sequence. You can run different capacity requirement scenarios by changing item sequence in the sequence column. If you want to update the sequence in QED, you can do so by changing the sequence and clicking on Update Sequence button. Once you made all the required changes, here I just add additional scheduled quantity for 2 items, and optionally verified capacity requirements, you can upload updated schedule into QED by clicking on the Upload button. Before attempting to upload schedule into QED database, Production Planner will run data validation. If it encounters any errors, message error occurred will be displayed, and color of cells with incorrect values will be changed to red. Each red colored cell will have comment attached to it with details of the error. Once all errors are fixed, you can click on Upload button again. If data upload is successful, message uploaded successfully will be displayed in status window. In Production Planner, quantities downloaded from QED are open schedule quantities calculated as quantity required minus quantity completed. Similarly, when upload happens, Production Planner assumes that quantity specified in Excel is an open quantity. If there's already any completed quantity for the date in QED, actual schedule quantity will be adjusted during the upload automatically. Production Planner allows you to maintain schedule using 28 days and 28 weeks horizons. There are separate tabs in the loader: daily for 28 days horizon and weekly for 28 weeks horizon. When schedule is maintained using daily tab, quantities are scheduled using specified using specific date. Schedule download and upload from the weekly tab works the same way as for daily tab. The only difference is quantity uploaded from the weekly tab are summarized into weekly buckets and assigned to Mondays in QED. Once schedule has been modified in QED, it needs to be exploded to create material and operation requirements. With Production Planner, you can run schedule explosion directly from Excel by clicking on Explode button. Results of schedule explosion are displayed in a pop-up window and can be printed if you need to. If schedule is not exploded from Production Planner, it will be automatically exploded during the next regenerative MRP run in QED. Exploding schedules creates in QED scheduled work orders for each day of production. Like standard work orders, they have an attached work order bill and routing and create component demands for MRP and work center load for capacity requirements planning. Production Planner also allows you to check component availability for existing and simulation schedules. When you click on Shortage Report, Production Planner will run components availability calculation for all scheduled quantities and will open a detailed shortage tab on a separate detailed shortage report on a separate shortage tab. You will see information about required dates, quantities, quantities required, quantities available, quantities on hand, planned purchase order quantities, and the due dates for all the components. To identify components requirement, scheduled quantities are rolled down to the component level using work order bill of materials when available, or item bill of materials. Required dates for components are calculated based on the summarized manufacturing lead time for all BOM levels in the finished product. Order quantity is the sum of all open purchase order quantities or work order quantities for subassembly components with due date earlier than the component's required date. While checking components availability, Production Planner will also identify available and planned subassembly quantities. Component statuses will be assigned based on the projected component availability. If available quantity is greater or equal to the required quantity, component status will be OK. If available quantity is 0 or less than required quantity, but planned order quantity is greater or equal to the required quantity, otherwise component status will be short. This was a brief demonstration of Production Planner functionality, and it basically concludes my presentation. As you have seen in this demonstration, 32Soft Production Planner is a great productivity tool which is very easy to use. It requires minimum training and can significantly increase efficiency and accuracy of your production scheduling process. I hope you was able to grasp an idea of the loader, and if you have any questions now, I will pass control to Denise and we will start our Q&A session.